On the 13th of June 2016, a police officer and his wife, a police secretary, were stabbed to death in the home in Magnanville, France, located about 55 kilometers west of Paris, by a man convicted in 2013 of associating with a group planning terrorist acts. AMAQ news agency, an online outlet said to be sponsored by the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, said that a source had claimed that ISIL was behind the attack. Prosecutor François Molins said the attacker, Larissi Abella, appeared to be acting on a recent general order from Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi to kill miscreants at home with their families during the month of Ramadan. On the 18th of June, prosecutors charged two men, Karafdin Abraz and Saad Raj Raji, who had been convicted in 2013 of being part of a French jihadist group on suspicion that Abella wasn't acting alone. Attack. On the evening of the 13th of June 2016, in Magnanville, France, Jean-Baptiste Salvering, a 42-year-old police commanding officer at the Muro police station, was coming home after work to his house in Allée des Pedrix. Around 8 o'clock p.m., a 25-year-old man, Larissi Abella, parked his car 20 meters away from the victim's house and hid behind the front gate of the house. The police officer entered his property at around 8:30 p.m. and Abella immediately attacked him, stabbing him twice, while shouting, "Allahu Akbar." The victim managed to flee into the street, where he met a neighbor and asked him to call emergency services and get to cover. Abella finally caught up with the police officer, stabbing him again several times before barricading himself in the house of his victim. Inside the house, he murdered the victim's wife, Jessica Schneider, a 36-year-old administration worker at the Mantes-la-Jolie police station, by slitting her throat. The couple's 3-year-old child remained unharmed. Inside the house, at 8:52 p.m., Abella started a Facebook Live broadcast on his mobile phone while the raid and BRI police special forces converged on the crime scene and set up an attack plan. In his 13-minute-long live broadcast, Abella claimed his double murder and his allegiance to Abu Muhammad al-Adnani, ISIL's spokesperson, considered as the leader of the November 2015 Paris attacks. He called for attacks on police personnel, journalists, public figures and rappers, citing several public figures. He also claimed, "We're going to make the Euro a cemetery," referring to the ongoing UEFA Euro 2016 football competition, taking place in France at the time. He also mentioned the couple's child, who was still alive, saying, "I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet." On the scene, police teams evacuated and locked down the area around the house. The raid's special unit attempted to negotiate with Abella. During these negotiations, Abella said he was a practicing Muslim, that he was observing Ramadan, and that he swore allegiance 3 weeks earlier to ISIL leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. He also said he answered a call from al-Baghdadi to kill the infidels at their homes with their families. Later in the night, after unsuccessful attempts at negotiating with the suspect, and threats from the suspect to blow the place up if the police tried to break in, the raid assault team, along with BRI officers, entered the house around 12 o'clock a.m. and killed Abella in a firefight. They retrieved the body of the police officer's wife and the 3-year-old son, who was alive but in shock. Perpetrator. The assailant, 25-year-old Larissi Abella, was a French citizen of Moroccan descent from the suburb of Mantes-la-Jolie. He was born in Moulins, France. Abella had a police record for theft and violence by 2011. In that year, Abella, then aged 20, was arrested for his participation in a group that recruited would-be jihadis to go to Pakistan and Afghanistan for training. Abella and 7 other men were convicted in Paris in 2013 for their involvement in the plot. Abella was convicted of criminal association with the aim of preparing terrorist acts. On the 30th of September 2013, Abella was sentenced to 3 years in prison, 6 months of which were suspended, because he had already spent 2 years and 2 months in jail awaiting trial. He was released after being sentenced. Abella was under surveillance for several years after his release, but this monitoring ended in 2015. The New York Times described the attack as tied to the Islamic State, citing al-Adnan's pre-Ramadan speech urging attacks on Europe and the United States. Reactions. French President François Hollande said the attack was unquestionably terrorism. French Prime Minister Manuel Valls said on France Inter Radio, "I said we were at war, that this war will take a generation, that it will be long."